colleagues from the Ministry of Finance, colleagues from the Bank of Zambia, RUFEP, colleagues from FSDZ, private sector NGOs who are attending online, and all partners of savings at the Frontier program. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. First, allow me to make a brief introduction of the UNCDF for purposes of those who do not know who we are. We are an autonomous UN agency with a capital mandate and an investment mandate. In Zambia, we majorly focus on building financial inclusion and financial health, specifically through digital technologies. Secondly, we also support government and the private sector on building and strengthening a broader digital economy. This, of course, entails infusing of technology, science, and innovation across all key sectors such as health, education, finance, among others. The third area we work in as UNCDF in Zambia, we focus on and engage in investments specifically to the MSME sector. We do this through our financing tools, where we provide either direct loans and guarantees to cover financial institutions and intermediaries who then take these services to the last mile. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to sincerely thank Savings at the Frontier for inviting UNCDF to this event. We remain honored and humbled. Here at UNCDF, we believe that saving is a backbone to economic resilience, a fallback to financial shocks, and a source of job creation. And we also acknowledge the role of the informal saving mechanisms that they play in cushioning where formal mechanisms are faced with structural or organizational challenges that limit them to serve the last mile. And in several instances, we at UNCDF have witnessed that the informal saving mechanisms are, of course, acting as conveyor belts for clients whose financial needs graduate and evolve into the formal financing sector. And this is predominantly seen with women and youth from rural and marginalized settings. Why do we need savings? For us at the UNCDF, we believe that it's important, the importance of savings is now so well established and cannot be overemphasized. The experiences of the financial crisis and again, the COVID pandemic have indeed challenged the global landscape. And this has a huge impact on our spending at both national and individual levels. We therefore need savings now and more into the future than ever before. Savings play a key role in accumulating assets, building a buffer against shocks, as well as reducing credit constraints. There is no doubt that savings is the path to success, and savings is one of the primary determinants of capital formulation for any individual and economy. And in this turn, it contributes to the growth of the economy. An engwe saved is an engwe earned. Allow me to share a story of Susan Mwela, a mother of 4 children from Kawamba in Luapula province. She was living in poverty, but was convinced to join Achiliba, a local savings group within the community. This enabled her to socialize with fellow women in the community, but also allowed her to make very small ticket-sized savings. Susan Mwela, her father, received financial literacy and entrepreneur training. This was made possible through a financial literacy program run by FSDZ Zambia. After her first year of active participation in the savings group, she received part of her savings that helped her to purchase a goat and a cow to start a livestock business. Susan Mwela continued to save money into the savings group while she also tended to her livestock business. Eventually, she expanded her business from 1 goat to 8 goats and from 1 cow to 2. Sooner than later, she was supplying the community with milk for an income. However, in followed the COVID pandemic, and with it came lockdown restrictions. Susan's husband lost his job, and as a night watchman, luckily, Susan was able to use her financial skills, her savings, her entrepreneurial savviness to support her family and becoming a stopgap household breadwinner as her husband searched for the next job employment. Ladies and gentlemen, from Susan's experience, we acknowledge that saving is an effective and secure manner that provides prospects and opens the doors for opportunities and for prosperities for the most vulnerable people in Zambia. Inclusive formal and informal savings are therefore key for low-income earners to build resilience to cope with unexpected shocks, such as the one we continue to see during the COVID days. Saving also lay prerequisite building blocks that help create employment and boost economic activities and entrepreneurship. So it is prudent that the financial sector understands and pays more attention to how low-income earners use savings, and how and to what extent savings products and attributes and mechanisms contribute to the resilience and well-being of low-income populations. Needless to say, the value proposition of saving differs from different segments of the population, and we cannot afford to leave any Zambian behind on this agenda of savings. Unfortunately, from the 2020 FinScope study in Zambia, savings from both the formal and the informal mechanisms dropped from 63% in 2015 to 54.8% in 2020. Some of the reasons to this are attributed to the lack of income flow that allows individuals to set aside incomes to save. However, there are also barriers such as cost of maintaining an account, the cost of savings itself, limited infrastructure to provide close access points for saving deposits. These all were mentioned. Some Zambians also mentioned that they have a fear and shyness of presenting small ticket savings. And not shocking is the element of cultural norms, specifically husbands not permitting women to own a financial account while still to save. However, on the supply side again, we still observe that there is a perceived disconnect between consumer needs and formal providers' understanding of how to meet these needs. Here at the UNCDF, and as a neutral broker, we are also aware that some of the gains that we previously witnessed in Zambia have been eroded by the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we also believe in collective action to remedy this trend for an upward spiral and positive outlook. One of the options to promote savings, and more so from among the vulnerable and ordinary Zambians, is through the use of digital technologies and linkages. We take note particularly of mobile money banking, which has indeed entrenched a savings culture among low-income Zambians. You will also agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that the emergence of mobile money banking and mobile banking services has transformed the financial sector, especially by allowing many low-income earners in Zambia to access a digital financial service. It is not surprising that digital financial services and channels are indeed supporting stakeholders with efficient means of mobilizing small ticket size savings that are often challenging and expensive to mobilize. And this is supporting their business models and making them more profitable. We also observe that the financial institutions that have adopted digital technologies and channels are mobilizing massive outreach and higher volumes of saving transactions. This besides giving conveniency to their customers. Our clarion call and to all of us is to further develop sustainable and efficient support edge channels to amplify efficiencies of these digital technologies that we are deploying. I must admit that proximity to clients and liquidity management challenges continue to remain bottlenecks, and these need innovative solutions and an urgency to resolve. However, I should also note that digital technologies should not be looked at as the answer to our problems. Digital technologies and finance should strike a balance for the informal saving mechanisms such as community savings groups. We need to take consideration of the culture and intention of formation of these savings groups. Most of them are formed for other social purposes beyond savings. So digital technologies should only be complementary rather than negatively disrupting the social aspects. We also need to innovate better on how digital technologies can create positive linkages of informal saving mechanisms to the formal. Secondly, It is our collective responsibility to ensure that we create awareness about the importance of savings and financial literacy as a way of helping all Zambians, especially the vulnerable such as Susan Wheeler, on how to better plan for their future. It is indeed the role of financial institutions and regulators to help all Zambians to develop a stronger understanding of basic financial concepts such as savings. And in that way, they can handle their money better. As we deepen the inclusion of digital technologies in finance, we need to take keen interest of coupling financial literacy with responsible digital literacy, especially now that the fraudsters engaged in digital finance are becoming more sophisticated. Third, we should pivot inclusive finance to focus deeper into financial health of Zambians. From the 2020 FinScope study, less than 15% of Zambians said they were financially healthy and can sustain a normal lifestyle beyond 3 months, or if in case they had a loss of income source. Whereas we continue to promote savings, it is super important that we take an interest in long-term savings products such as pensions, specifically for the informal sector that usually is left out from the superannuation fund structures. For a moment, think about Susan Wheeler, who is currently excluded from the superannuation contribution. Yet it is natural that she will at some point get old and weaker and will no longer be able to work in her livestock business. It's indeed possible that solutions can be developed to allow Susan Wheeler to obtain a safety net of pension savings. That is, if such long-term saving products to the informal sector are made available, affordable, and customer-focused to meet both the short-term and long-term financial needs of such marginalized groups. It's therefore imperative that the financial sector regulators and policymakers develop approaches and policies that ensure financial health, while also providing key direction to financial service providers towards financial health products such as pension. For starters, such approaches and metrics should be considered into the Bank of Zambia's next financial inclusion strategy. And fourth, the aspect of customer research, data analytics cannot be overemphasized. We should give attention to customer research that focuses on financial behaviors and across all customer segments, not leaving behind any marginalized group who in most cases are considered unbankable. As players and contributors to the financial sector, we should dig deep into data by age, gender, location, type and frequency of transactions, value, and the preferred access channels. Such information should be used to tailor-make suitable and appropriate saving solutions to specific segments, and we should shift away from the one-size-fits-all approach. Customers such as Susan Wheeler will require differentiated products, differentiated needs, differentiated specifications and design elements, perhaps different from a mid-income earner in Lusaka. Lastly, we can no longer underscore the significance of partnership that help to foster and develop a functioning ecosystem. There is a growing role for fintech partners in product development and development of saving mobilization mechanism as enablers. The UNCDF is a firm believer in fintechs, and we have been improving their capabilities to play a much better role in the financial sector. We have invested in fintechs that hold great promise to advancing financial services, while also working with government partners present here to create a more enabling and inclusive regulatory environment. An environment that allows innovators to tackle daily challenges such as savings. And indeed, like-minded development partners such as FSDZ and RUFEP and programs such as Savings at the Frontiers have done even much more than us to promote partnerships and savings in Zambia. However, this journey is still continuous and a lot of work still lies ahead. As I close, let me underscore that in this decade of action of the Agenda 2030, all stakeholders contributing to the growth of the financial sector in Zambia should stay committed and steadfast to creating and realizing partnerships aimed at supporting Zambia to continue making progress on achieving the SDGs, leaving no one behind. We look forward to a positive deliberations and action points from this workshop. And again, we thank Savings at the Frontiers program for convening this workshop to discuss topical financial sector challenges and opportunities to grow the sector. I thank you.